Internet, Eric here. Well, I got a tag video to do. I haven't done one of these in a long, long time. Basically, A, been too busy. B, just been doing the podcast lately. And C, no one usually ever tags me for videos like this, or I'm just too lazy to create my own. But recently, Knight over at the Nightwatch Zone, I have mentioned him numerous times. I've even done some collaboration with him recently. I'll put the link to his official tag video in the description below. A couple weeks ago, I was on his channel discussing Pet Cemetery, and he is doing. I don't know if he created this. I don't think he's the one that created this tag, but it's called 10 for 10. And what it is 10 genres of movies, and then you pick either your favorite or the first one that comes to your head when you think of that genre. And yeah, he tagged me a bunch of other people's. And I thought this would be a lot of fun to actually do because it's something new on the channel, and give some spotlights to certain other movies. And let's see if I can turn off that light, at least in the background. Yeah, good enough. All right. Anyways, first category. Uh, well, on Knight's channel, he did it with Coriander, who is a co-host of his, and they each gave their own choices, obviously. Well, the first category was foreign, and Knight wanted to switch it up a little bit. Coriander gave a foreign video, and he switched it up and he did martial arts. So I'm combining them. So, and for anyone who does these tags, it can be whatever category you want. So I'm just gonna do the same ones that Knight did. So foreign slash martial arts, I combined them, and I decided to pick Shaolin Soccer. Now this movie could also go in the comedies as well. Hell of a lot of fun. Stephen Chow plays what is it? He just he's the leader of basically a group of misfits who are former Shaolin monks, and they use their Shaolin monk martial arts to make soccer so over the top and fun and goofy. There's dance sequences, there's over the top, like when people are hit with the ball, the soccer ball, they're shot 20, 30, 50 feet. If you've seen a Stephen Chow movie, like Kung Fu Hustle or anything like that, he's really good at blending like Looney Tunes type violence with martial arts. The final battle between them and Team Evil, of all things, hell of a lot of fun. Highly recommend Shaolin Soccer for foreign or martial arts. Next, we had Mystery. This one was a little tough for me to decide, but the first one that I thought of was Identity. This is a one I really enjoy as well. It's about a group of people who don't know each other, excuse me, and during a rainstorm, for some reason or another, they're all brought together in this motel, and sooner or later bodies start piling up one by one. Each one of them is killed, and they're trying to find out who the killer is. And it's a twist that I thought was really good. Great cast: John Cusack, Ray Liotta, Amanda Peet. Who else is it? Rebecca De Mornay's in this. Jake Busey's in this. Who else? John C. McGinley from Scrubs. Alfred Molina. The guy who plays Benny in the opening sequence of From Dusk Till Dawn. Really like this, based off of And Then There Were None, Agatha Christie novel. It's even mentioned in this, but highly recommend it. Clea Duvall's in it. I always hate her though. But Identity for Mystery. Right, what do we got here next? Next was Western or Adventure. So it was Western, and Knight changed it to Adventure. So I went the route and combined them both. Because I don't really watch a lot of Westerns, to be honest. So I went with Back to the Future 3. Now, for some reason, a lot of people don't like this one. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it focuses on Doc Brown having a love story, which I think is great, because all the shit that's happened to Doc throughout the first two movies, The dude deserves to get himself some love. Um, Again, Thomas F. Wilson as Griff, not Griff, Mad Dog Tannen. Griff was in part two. Just the way that they have to try to figure out how to get the DeLorean up to 88 without gasoline. And there's this great sequence with the train at the end. And I love Back to the Future 3. So that was my choice for Westerns or Adventure. Next, we have drama. This was tough because in a later originally I was going to have something else in this, but I switched it when I found out that we had a category that said film could fit in. So my second choice, because I used my first choice for a future category, for drama, The Wrestler, Mickey Rourke. Darren Aronofsky makes some of the best but most depressing movies. I'm a huge wrestling fan to begin with, but I keep telling people, you don't have to be a wrestling fan to enjoy this movie, because it's not a wrestling movie. It's just a movie with wrestling in it. We're following Mickey Rourke, who was just, in the 80s, or in his heydays in the 80s, he was basically like Hulk Hogan, Randy the Ram Robinson. And now he's broken down, living in a trailer park. He gets, evicted. His daughter hates him. His only friend is Marissa Tomei, who's a stripper. He tries to make a relationship out of that. Everything goes wrong. And then he finally has this one chance of like a big rematch type of thing. After he has a heart attack and he can't do the civilian life and this and that. It's so good. It's so sad in a lot of scenes. But Mickey Rourke, I've never been a huge Mickey Rourke guy. Only because I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff. Other than Knockoff, I think it was. No, Double Team. They had that shitty Van Damme movie with Dennis Rodman. I never saw 9.5 Weeks. I do love Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, but for the reasons why, you don't... It's not a good movie. It's a fun movie. That makes sense, but Mickey Rourke is phenomenal in this. Evan Rachel Wood as his daughter is phenomenal in this. Marissa Tomei is so good. I love seeing the cameos by other wrestlers. And you got that really good Bruce Springsteen song. And think of it. This was originally going to be Nicolas Cage. How fucked up would that be? Because this was at the time when Nicolas Cage was really going off the deep end. I think he had just done Wicker Man. And we've seen what's happened to that crazy bastard since. So for drama, I picked The Wrestler. Comedy. This one was tough. So again, first one that popped into my head, Spaceballs. Love Mel Brooks. I think Knight picked Frankenstein because he's a huge Mel Brooks fan. Star Wars, parodied by Mel Brooks. You got Rick Moranis as Dark Helmet. John Candy, so good as Barf, the Chewbacca wannabe. Bill Pullman as Lone Star, who is a mixture of Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. So many good characters, so many quotable lines. I'm just not going to go into it. We did do a Two Bearded Losers episode on this. So if you really want to know my thoughts and Frenzy's thoughts, I think we went almost 90 minutes talking about it. And Rachel is on it too. Just go to the Two Bearded Losers playlist on the channel. But I absolutely love this movie. It does not get old. It's still hilarious. Next was Thriller. Okay, now this was the movie I initially was going to pick for drama because I think it can fit in a drama, just like Jaws can be a drama, Sounds of the Lambs can be a drama. But since Thriller came out, it's great because I was able to talk The Wrestler. I have two movies, obviously, in my top two movies. Everyone who knows me knows my favorite movie of all time is The Crow. My second favorite movie of all time is what I chose for this thriller, Seven. So many fantastic things about this movie. And I've never upgraded to Blu-ray because I love this DVD. It comes in this like fake little notebook of John Doe's notebook. And it's just really, really cool. But serial killer, killing people by the ways of Seven Deadly Sins. Brad Pitt is this new detective wanting to track down the killer. Morgan Freeman is this detective on his way out. Morgan Freeman sees how this world is garbage. Brad Pitt has hope still, and they have fantastic chemistry. This was the movie that made me realize Brad Pitt's not just a pretty boy. He's not just Thelma and Louise and was it Meet Joe Black or any of that other bullshit. This made me a fan of Brad Pitt. Gave me respect for Brad Pitt, and I am a Brad Pitt fan now. But, oh my god. And then the ending has been parodied so many times. Even if you know what happens, watch this film because there's so many gut punches to you. So many scenes of, oh, we could have had him. Scenes that will have you, gasping at what the fuck did this crazy man do? Love this movie. Like I said, top 2 films of all time for me. Fantasy. First one that popped into my head. Loved it since childhood. Still holds up. I grew up with Jim Henson. Labyrinth. And this is cool because this is like a little digibook. Neat. Labyrinth. Anyone in film or who loves movies, at least on my channel, knows Labyrinth. But Jennifer Connelly plays this girl. She's into fantasies and this and that. She has to babysit her brother. Brother's a little baby. And she wishes him to be taken away by the Goblin King. And he is. And he's taken to the castle right there. And she has to go through this labyrinth to get there in 13 hours or else he turns into a goblin himself. And you got great characters. Ludo, that little asshole Hoggle, Sir Didymus. I love Sir Didymus. David Bowie's fantastic. Everyone always pictures David Bowie's junk. There's more to David Bowie than just his fucking codpiece in this movie. I have the soundtrack on my iPod. So good. If you're a David Bowie fan, worth watching because he's really good in this. Action. Okay. Now, Night switched it around a little bit. An American Werewolf in New Jersey, who is a YouTuber I've just found out about recently within the last few months because of Night. He did this one as well. Really good YouTuber. Deserves a lot more subscribers than he's got. I love the way this man talks about film. I loved his 10 for 10. And he switched it. He did his own categories, and he kind of did like subcategories and stuff like that. His excuse was, my channel, I do whatever I want. So for action, I picked 2. One is in my top 3 movies of all time. And the other one, I like just a little bit under it, so it deserves to be talked about. And it literally popped into my head after I picked my first choice. First choice, favorite action movie, top 3 movies of all time. I've discussed it hundreds of times. Again, Two Beer Losers playlist, Predator. My favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, my favorite action movie in general. You have so much testosterone in this movie from the fantastic cast. Stan Winston making the Predator. You believe that Kevin Peter Hall as the Predator could kick the shit out of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Again, I love the scene how it's all these macho men, they're going into the jungle, listening to Little Richard. Quotable lines, good gore. John McTiernan, director of Die Hard, directed this. So fucking good. Now, the second one I chose has Arnold in it, and I absolutely love this movie. This is probably my second favorite action movie of all time. The Expendables 2. Now, the Expendables movies, you know what the fuck you're getting into. You're getting all these action movie heroes from the old, some from current time like Jason Statham, and you're there to get explosions, fights, blood and guts, martial arts, all that stuff. You got that in the first one. You really get it in this one. You have Jet Li making guys' faces explode with his fists and beating shit up with pots and pans. It's great because Jean-Claude Van Damme is in this. He's a villain. I love his final fight between him and Stallone. Everyone is good in this. We have more because Arnold isn't governor anymore. So he's in this movie a lot more. Him and Bruce Willis throwing each other's one-liners around. Chuck Norris showing up and kicking some ass and saving their butts. And I don't know who the chick was. Does it say her name? The Asian girl? I don't see it here. Anyway, she was fucking good. She was great. And then, Randy Couture and Dolph Lundgren is great. Dolph Lundgren and Jet Li together. Terry Crews. So much fun in this movie. Scott Adkins as the second in command to Jean-Claude Van Damme. That fucker's badass. Love him. Expendables 2. We got left. Sci-fi. Okay. my favorite sci-fi movie of all time. It is in the horror genre. But Critters. Love this movie. Absolutely fucking love this movie. So much fun. Couldn't tell you how many times I've seen this movie. I think it just did its 35th anniversary this year, just a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago of this upload. Little creatures escape from a prison planet, crash land in Kansas. Bounty hunters are sent after them. Some of the coolest badass bounty hunters you've ever seen. They leave nothing in their wake, standing up. Great design of these critters. They're done by the same people who did Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which could have made this list, but I love critters that much more. Yeah, so much. Great characters other than Dee Wallace Stone. She's not very good in this, but it's cool having Dee Wallace be in another science fiction alien movie because she was in Close Encounters and she was in E.T. Nadine Vandervelde right there is the sister. Huge crush on her when I was a kid. Billy fucking Zane is in this. Scotty Grimes is good. Emmett Walsh, who always plays that great asshole in all these movies. Absolutely love Critters. I really like Critters 2. Don't like 3. Really like 4. We're not going to talk about Critters Attacks. But for sci-fi, Critters. Finally, this is easy. It's horror. Anyone knows me, knows what I'm going to pick for horror. It's my favorite horror movie of all time. I just said it. I was a guest on Nightwatch's channel. I've said it numerous times on my channel, on the podcast, on other people's podcasts. We'll never get tired of talking about Pet Sematary. What have I not said about this movie? Absolutely love it. Everyone knows the story. Stephen King. Things get killed. Buried in an Indian burial ground. Come back. Try to kill people. They're evil. Blah, blah, blah. I love the tone of what, man playing God. The monkey's paw. So many chilling imagery. The soundtrack is creepy. The gore is great. All that stuff. Said it before. Say it again. Not going to get too much into it because I've said it a million times. Pet Sematary. So that's it. To re-go with foreign martial arts, I did Shaolin Soccer. Mystery, I did Identity. Western and Adventure, Back to the Future 3. Drama, The Wrestler. Comedy, Spaceballs. Thriller, 7. Fantasy, Labyrinth. Action, Predator, and Expendables 2. Science fiction, Critters, Horror, Pet Sematary. So I had a lot of fun making this video. So thank you to Knight for tagging me. Like I said, I'll put the link to his video in the description below. And I'm also going to tag some people myself. We'll see how far we can keep this going. The people I'm going to tag, you don't have to do it. If you don't want to, I'll at least let you know that to do it. And like I said, you don't have to do these specific categories. You can pick any genre you want. Because I just chose to do the same ones Nightwatch did. I mentioned An American Werewolf in New Jersey. He didn't do the same ones. He did some of the same ones. So, first person I'm going to tag is Jason over at Horrific Nightmares JM, and I'm going to put the links to everyone's channel below as well. Horrific Nightmares JM. He's one of the Super Slash Brothers every Friday night on YouTube. Nice guy. What I like about him is he does do horror, but he's now trying to do things other than horror. He's got this new category called Anything But Horror, where he's discussing movies. Like he just discussed Spider-Man. He's talked Platoon, that I've really liked. And so maybe this can help us get to know you more as well, Jason, outside of the horror genre. So Horrific Nightmares JM. I'm going to tag Two Bitter Losers superfan, Jennifer Tochi. This woman, she watches a lot of movies, and I love her to death. She's like the biggest sweetheart in the world. So Jennifer, you are tagged as well. Like I said, remember, you don't have to do these genres at all. You can do whatever ones you want. Next, I'm going to tag my buddy Horror Gamer. Horror Gamer, if you want to just do all horror and do subgenres, that's up to you. If not, doesn't matter. YouTuber that I've become really good friends with over the past couple years. I'm going to tag Evil Stevel, who is making his return to YouTube. Another good guy that I met through YouTube, and he's thinking of getting out of the horror genre every now and then as well. So him. And for the last two, I don't know if they'll do it or not, but fuck it. I'm going to tag my my co-hosts. I'm going to tag Frenzy, my co-host at Two Bearded Losers, And then Jay from JVTV Uncut, I'm going to tag him as well. I do a podcast with him, JVTV Uncut podcast. So that's it. Do it if you want, guys. No pressure. Doesn't matter. I had a lot of fun. Check out the links to everyone's channel below. Check out Nightwatch's original tag. Let's keep this going. So with that, I'll just say cheers.